development. 5 NBA players have been placed on the disabled list in the last 24 hours, all suffering from the same mysterious ailment.
Before we get started, if you don't want to end up like this, then you gotta make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe before we get into this video. Big Lotti gang, welcome back to our film series where we're breaking down some of our most favorite and iconic basketball movies and then putting them in the tier list at the end of the video. And after going through all of our suggestions from our first video, if you haven't seen the Coach Carter video yet, make sure you go check that out. We finally have a name for the series, Big Lotti Breakdowns. And shout out to my subscriber, I'm that guy for real. That's I'm_that_guy_FR. His comment is pinned in that video also, so make sure y'all show him some love. Now, after you guys voted on the channel, we have our movie for today. Today, we are breaking down the iconic, the legendary Space Jam, starring the GOAT himself, Bugs Bunny. Oh yeah, and some ball guy named Michael Jordan too. Now, before we start breaking down this movie, we have to remember what inspired this movie in the first place. A commercial with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan. That's all they had to go off of when it came to shooting this movie. So they built a whole plot around just that commercial in the 90s. This is another one of those movies where if you ain't seen it, are you even a hooper for real? Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, click off this video and go watch the original Space Jam. Not Space Jam 2. We'll probably talk about that movie later. But for now, let's focus on the original Space Jam starring Bugs Bunny and whatever that bald guy's name is again. I think it's something like Jeffrey. So we start off this movie with young Michael Jordan shooting around in his backyard in Wilmington, North Carolina. And for some reason, he just comes out of nowhere and just starts predicting the future. This is one of the cringier parts of the movie because he's sitting there basically saying exactly what Michael Jordan does in his life, almost as if they didn't want to put a whole bunch of budget into making an actually good biopic for Michael Jordan. That's another movie that we'll probably see later on sometime down the line during this series. But he's just sitting there, I want to go to North Carolina. And his dad's like, yeah, that's a real fine school. And you get first class education there. He said, I want to play on a championship team. Then I want to go to the NBA. He might as well have said, yeah, I want to go to North Carolina. I want to hit the game when it shot under Dean Smith. Stay 3 years, contemplate a little bit, then go and play for the Bulls. Get my own signature sneaker. Like the exposition in this part is crazy. Not gonna lie. A little cringy, but it's the 90s. What can you expect? You know what I mean? What really did it at the end of this scene is when his dad says, alright, it's time to come inside. And he turns around in the most dramatic way. And he starts driving to the basket. Keep in mind, his dad just said, I suppose after you do all of that, you're gonna fly, huh? Man, he drives to the basket and they slow-mo into what is obviously a layup. And then they cut away to Michael Jordan highlights where he's actually dunking the ball, punching on everybody, you know, taking the league by storm, you know, being his airness himself. But all I could think about is what it looked like in real time. Like, let's say all of this was real. And he turned around, his dad said, I suppose you're gonna fly, huh? And kid Michael Jordan goes up and really tries to dunk it. And it just turns out it's just a layup. Is his dad just looking at him like, ah, it's all right, son, you'll get there one day. Cause I'm not gonna lie, if I'm his pops, you turn around all dramatic like in slow-mo and you do that, what the fuck was the point of that? Like, bro, you gonna end on a layup? Man, if you don't back up and pull a three, we always end on a make, but a layup? That's weak, bro. That's weak. You're not going anywhere with that mindset. But I forgot, this is the 90s. Steph Curry ain't make it to the league yet. So after just the littest intro we've had in any basketball movie ever, the Space Jam soundtrack is overly hyped, by the way. Like, Space Jam really make you want to get up there and hoop for real. You know what I'm saying? But then they playing all these Michael Jordan highlights in the background, the music's going, they're showing the accomplishments, and keep in mind, they're only showing the accomplishments up until the end of the first three people to book, right? This movie came out in 96. So MJ was already on top of the world at this point. And they let it be known in the intro of this movie, no cap. But after that, we get to the first scene of the movie after the intro, and it's Michael Jordan reenacting his first retirement. And it's actually fairly accurate. You know, it was a little bit of hints of emotion. You know, I don't think they had too much demand on Michael Jordan's acting. He was basically just being himself. We'll talk about that later though. But you know, he talks about how, you know, his father got to see him play his last basketball game, and now he about about to go play baseball like he always dreamed of. Okay, cool. But after that iconic announcement, we get to meet the main, I guess, antagonist of the movie. We go all the way up to Moron Mountain and meet the aliens. They are not the Monstars yet. They're just some aliens on Moron Mountain, alright? They run in this fake ass alien Six Flags and all of the alien kids are saying, yo, this is lame as hell for real. Like, don't nobody want to be here. Bro looked at his pop straight up. He said, don't bring me here anymore, right? He said it so fast, I couldn't even get it out first time just now. I'm over here fumbling over my words. But he really meant that with his whole chest. Don't bring me here anymore, alright? But that's when the aliens devise a plan because the Looney Tunes popped up on their elite level alien satellite system. And they said, yo, if we get them, you know, to pull up to the park, everybody gonna want to spend their bread here. And then bro said, I mean, what if they can't come over here, you know what I mean? Can't? Another basketball movie reference. Can't should never be in a man's vocabulary. Because when you say can't, you ain't a man. We'll talk about that movie later on down the line. Don't even put the clip up from what movie that's from. I need y'all to guess in the comment section what movie that's from. Let's see how educated y'all are. You know what I'm saying? But that's when they start to put their plan in motion. They're gonna get the Looney Tunes to come up to Moron Mountain. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan has started his baseball career. And I'm not gonna lie, he's trash. Like, they did not hold back on showing that Michael Jordan was trash at baseball. And the crazy thing is, in real life, don't get me wrong, Michael Jordan was trash, but he won't. Like, he had some attributes to being a decent baseball player. I think in the minor leagues, he had led in stolen bases and was getting, towards the end of his stint in baseball, he was getting up to a respectable batting average. I don't play baseball. I don't keep up with too much baseball, but I kept up with Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna just bash the man like he's not still an elite level athlete. But the worst part of him being ass at baseball is that everybody is also dick riding him the whole time. Bro struck out. No, let's take it from the top real quick. The catcher is thanking him for an autograph before he goes up at bat, right? Then on top of that, he's letting them know every pitch that's about to come. Now that might be Michael Jordan just being ass, cause he's telling them, yo,
curveball, don't swing, don't swing.
All right, he doesn't swing, cool, everything's smooth. Then he letting them know the next pitch. Fastball,
outside corner,
swing. Missed it by a mile. He said, come on, bro, that was your pitch. No, missed it. Damn. Catcher said, don't worry, I'll get you another one. What the fuck? What the hell is going on here? Bro, the dick riding is crazy. The glazing is crazy right now. But long story short, Mike winds up striking out. To make matters even worse, he goes back to the dugout and they said, yo, that's a strikeout, Mike? That was a good looking strikeout, bro. Like, at least you look good when you strike out. And when I strike out, it looks nasty, but at least you look good when you finish. Pause. Get his meat out your mouth. What is going on? You want some knee pads? This is also the same scene where we meet Stan, the ultimate dick rider. But Stan is just doing his job. You know, he's the team's publicist, and his job is to make sure that Michael Jordan is happy no matter what. Okay, at the same time, ease up a little bit. You're glazed OD. But that's besides the point. We met Stan, now we can move on to the next scene of the movie. This is where the aliens finally get to the Looney Tunes, right? And now they telling them, yo, hey, stick them up, fam. Like, all y'all coming to Moron Mountain, y'all can't do a damn thing about it. Gather up all your Toon pals. Like, we out of here. Let's go. So, you know, Michael Jordan, we flash back to Michael Jordan. He's pulling up on his family's crib. And even though Michael Jordan is playing himself, none of his kids or wife are playing themselves in this movie. Now, granted, it might be one of those situations where Michael Jordan already can barely act. Like, we already got him acting like himself. We need some real actors to kind of pick up the slack. You know, maybe they can have a little bit of chemistry, whatever. The kids don't really have too big of a part, though. I really feel like his real kids could have just played them. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as his wife, his wife was looking aight, you know what I mean? But hey, we ain't gonna do too much, but you know what I'm saying? She was looking aight. You know, But that's when we see on the TV that the aliens is just like, yo, hey, round them up. Let's get it. We out of here. The Looney Tunes all have a cartoon council meeting. And again, the aliens is letting them know, yo, y'all coming to Moron Mountain. Y'all gonna be some comedic slaves for us. It's kind of dark, not gonna lie to you. But Bugs Bunny get out the chains like it's nothing, because you know he really do his escape life and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And says, yo, you gotta give us a chance to defend ourselves. And they trick the aliens into saying like, oh yeah, give them a chance to defend themselves. It's in the rule book. Alright, so you finessed that. In all honesty, you could have just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we're not kidnapping you, so you gotta go tell your boss. If your boss really wanted that bad, he gotta come get it in blood himself. That's what they should have done. But that's just me. I'm built different, you know what I'm saying? But they wind up challenging them to a basketball game because they realize that they're small arms, short legs, not very fast, tiny little guys, can't jump high. Basketball was the conclusion. They could have just challenged them to a track meet if that was the case. But basketball's more entertaining, and we gotta find a way to use Michael Jordan. So be it, right? One thing I want to point out in this scene right here, nobody talks about how the aliens was not messing with basketball as their idea until they saw somebody make a basket. Bugs Bunny pulled out these old ass highlights of like George Mikan, but like the league before Wilt Chamberlain got there. That's how old these highlights were. Nobody had made a basket. They was just running up and down the floor, throwing the ball at the backboard. And then one dude hit the luckiest half-court shot out of nowhere, and that's when the alien's eyes brightened up and was like, okay, we can do this, we can do this. Looney Tunes feeling mad confident, except the aliens got something else planned. We see them pull up on the NBA players at their game and steal their talent, straight up. Looney Tunes was not planning on that, all right? Now, this is where I want to make a comment. Charles Barkley cannot act. He did the worst job out of everybody. Like, did y'all see when he got his talent stolen? I had hopes. You know, I had high hopes when I seen them go into his body and steal the talent. He said, all right, cool, that looks believable. Then he started walking down the court like this. Bro doing the robot, for what? Like, and I'm not the only one who feels this way. They've actually made fun of him on the TNT crew for his acting in Space Jam. You can't make this up, bro. Charles Barkley should not have been doing this. I'm not gonna lie. It was ridiculous, but so, long story short, the aliens is stealing the NBA players' talent. They got Charles Barkley, they got Patrick Ewing, they got Muggsy Bogues, Bill Bradley, and Larry Johnson. A decent level squad for 90s basketball, not gonna lie. So then they pull back up on the Looney Tunes, and the Looney Tunes is like, y'all wanna get some shots up? Sure, go ahead. Aliens brought out the basketball that had all the talent in it and started injecting themselves with it, whatever. We're gonna talk about the drug promotion in this movie on a subtle level in a little bit. But they, you know, absorb all the talent, whatever, and now all of them hit growth spurts and look like a combination of DK Metcalf and Zion Williamson in high school. And now the Looney Tunes is like, oh, you know what, we in trouble. We gonna need some help with this one. Flashback to Earth, Michael Jordan is playing golf with Larry Bird, Bill Murray, and Stan is also there doing his usual dick riding. But Bill Murray steals the show when he's on screen because he is just so subtly hilarious. Like, he has some of the most iconic lines in the movie. No cap. Like, he's trying to convince them that, yo, what's going on with these players? You know, it's a shame, but the NBA is gonna need some new talent. You know, they need to get me out there. Mike and Larry looking at him like, it's not gonna work. You can't fool. You're trash. You're trash, man. Like, he looking at Mike like, oh, it's because I'm white, huh? No, Larry's white. So what? Larry's not white. Larry's clear. Iconic line in this movie. No cap. Larry's not white. Larry's clear. Oh, but the reason I also say that Bill Murray is so hilarious is because he knows how to carry these scenes with guys who don't act. So Michael Jordan hits a hole-in-one that's manipulated by Bugs Bunny under the green, right? And when he reaches in to get his ball, Stan is taking a picture, and Bugs Bunny has the rope. Get down here. You know what I'm saying? Mike is gone. He just disappeared into the hole in the ground. Everyone's quiet. Bill Murray said, what kind of camera is that? Oh, it's just the, would you not point that at me, please? The close lens cap. Tossed his camera like it was nothing. Man, I was weak. Like, my parents was weak when we seen that scene for the first time. This is the type of subtle humor that carries a kid's film where parents can connect and the kids is laughing too. Age-appropriate comedy. Gotta love it. You know what I mean? But then we get down, Michael Jordan is, you know, given the rundown by the rest of the Looney Tunes, and he is surprisingly calm about all of this. I think they made him like that because of his lack of acting, but that is neither here nor there. He gets the rundown and reluctantly agrees to help them out with basketball. Meanwhile, back on Earth, A moment is shown throughout all of these events that all of us who lived through 2020 can relate to on a personal level. Alright? That's where no one knew that this was gonna become like real 25 years later. Roughly 25 years later. After some serious consideration and taking into account the health and safety of our players, I as commissioner has decided that there will be no more basketball this season. Oh my God. You would have thought Rudy Gobert was in the movie watching this back like now. You would have thought Rudy Gobert was in the movie. Touching all the mics in the height of COVID, trying to be funny. Next thing you know, he got it. Man, that scene hits different these days. Hey, quick little serious moment of silence for all of those who we lost during COVID. All right, back to the movie. There's a little bit of hijinks that I consider filler just to add to the plot. Like, Michael Jordan needs his shorts back from Earth, and he can't play without them. So now Bugs Bunny and not Donald Duck. Ooh, no, Daffy Duck. Thank God. Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck go down, and they gotta break into his crib, get all this stuff. They gotta fight off the dog and all of that. It's really just filler. It doesn't really contribute anything to the plot outside of Stan finding his way to the Looney Tunes universe to join them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gotta remember, this movie is only 90 minutes. And like I said earlier, it's based off of a commercial. They got very little material to work with, so they're gonna stretch it as much as they can. And for all you weirdly horny people that were watching this movie back then, I guess for the sake of just pleasing every fan base watching this video, I guess, I'll mention that this is also where we're introduced to Lola Bunny in the movie. And I'm not gonna say much else. Like, y'all saw the movie, I hope. Pretty sure you did. And y'all watched that part way too many times for me. But I'm gonna let y'all live. We can fast forward to the game though. Now, we finally get to tip-off, and the Toon Squad is getting waxed. Side note, this is also where we're introduced to the Space Jam 11s. One of the best shoes, period. Like, one of the best shoe releases, period. I'm a Jordan 11 guy. The Space Jams ain't my favorite. They are top 3 for me. It goes Concords, Bread, Space Jams. That's how the 11s are ranked for me. You know what I'm saying? But we fast forward to the start of the game, and they are getting waxed. Like, there's so many illegal things going on. The Toon Squad is just getting beat up, and the Monstars ran up the score to the point where the scoreboard showed kind of one-sided, isn't it? Oh my God. This is exactly what Zion looked like in high school, going up against all them little kids that he was playing. But halftime comes, and this is where, Mike is like, yo, I didn't come all the way down here to get my butt whipped by a bunch of ugly Monstars. I ain't going out like that. We gotta get something to us. We gotta get up in their faces. Daffy not hearing none of that. Daffy Duck is laying back like, yeah, that's gonna work. Yep. Oh yeah, you've been in this position before, huh? Oh yeah, we can win this game. I'm sure. Yeah, cool, whatever. But this is where Bugs Bunny has the genius idea to trick the Looney Tunes into playing better. This is where we're introduced to the iconic Michael's Secret stuff. Pause. Now, basically, it's the placebo effect. Like Bugs Bunny, drinking some water, and then next thing you know, he coming out and he looking like, Now this is where I say they allude to a little bit of some drug use in this movie, but in a subtle way to where the parents catch on and the kids are just like, haha, what? What did he say? You know what I'm saying? Cause Daffy Duck finally gets the bottle and he says, this goes against everything that they taught me in health class. Mike said, you want to win or not? Bottoms up. Like, yo, hold on, wait a minute. So we basically just letting them think that they taking steroids. Okay, cool. We'll fast forward, but they come out in the second half. Oh, and they get into it. Oh, they running the score back up. Oh, they bullying the Monstars a little bit. They ain't scared. They looking at, man, you ain't pussy. Like, they is on it. They are on it right now. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, it gets to a point. Monstars is calling timeout. And the owner coming down, the big dog. Big bro for them, coming down, yo, what's going on? Why y'all ain't kidnapped this dude? And they said, what? He like, why y'all ain't stealing his talent? Man, he's a baseball player, bro. Michael Jordan overhears their little conversation, and he go, hey, yo, matter of fact, why don't we raise the stakes a little bit? Now we're showing his gambling addiction. Oh my God, maybe it's a gambling addiction for you, because you don't want it. All right, he raises the stakes for no reason. Like, this was so unprovoked, and just says, if we win, you get the NBA guys their talent back. That should have happened regardless. But then, if you win, you get me. What? Oh, and this is where they also allude to his competition problem. It's not a gambling addiction, it's a competition problem. He says, you'll be our star attraction. You gonna sign autographs all day long and play one-on-one with the paying customers, but you'll always lose. Oh, I just know that would drive Michael Jordan crazy. What? We know how much of a tyrant he is, especially after seeing the Last Dance documentary. So you always gonna lose? Oh, that's a big risk. But he's a gambling man. He shook on that. You know what I'm saying? And now the Monstars just come out and they just straight up, like, they not even playing basketball at this point. They just straight up, Make it. What the fuck? Smacking these dudes. Like, and I'm not talking about scoring baskets. They are stomping them out like, hold up. Let them get up. They going crazy right now. But this is also where the time length of the movie really shows, because they just fast forward through a lot of that. And all of a sudden, Stan checks into the game. He gets hurt, but they get a lucky bucket out of it. And then, so there's only 10 seconds left to go in the game. But they're short one player. They need one more guy. Otherwise, they're going to forfeit. And this is when the real MVP shows up. The man, the myth, the legend. Bill Murray, wearing number 22, shows up to save Michael Jordan. Y'all all talk about, Mike ain't never win without Scotty. You know who he really didn't win without? Bill Murray. He pulled up and was like, yo, let me show them I could really do this for real. Put me in the league, fam. Man, it comes together. They put the game plan together, and y'all know how this movie ends, man. They going up against the Monstars. They get a steal. Bill Murray don't play defense, but he still got an unofficial steal on the record. You know, Daffy did something a little questionable. The ref ain't see it. Loose ball picked up by Bill Murray. That's a steal. But he talking about, whoa. I don't play defense. Nah, he's an underrated defender. Then you see him dishing out some behind the back passes. Oh, faking the aliens out. Oh, what did Magic say he came down to do? You know what I'm saying? Gets the ball to Mike, and Mike comes down half court looking like Wemby. Oh, he in the air ready, taking off. Just and the aliens is like, nah, we can't let this happen. Try to tackle him out the air. Mike stretches like Wemby. Jump from half court. Game time, it's over. Game, stupid. You know what I'm saying? Toon Squad wins. The aliens, they decided that they're gonna rock with the Looney Tunes. You know, they give all the talent back to the NBA players. You know, they send their boss up packing because they realize, yo, you're not big bro right now. That's all us. But then they give the talent back. You know, now they chilling with the Looney Tunes. Now they got a good life figured out for themselves. MJ pulls back up to the NBA players, gives them their talent back. And how does the movie end? They like, yo, Mike, come play some 3-on-3. He's like, nah, I'm cool. They like, oh, you must not got it no more. You know, you've been playing baseball. And he like, okay. And the movie ends with Michael Jordan making his return, sporting number 45. Can't end on a better note than that. Now, after all of that, where do we rank this movie? Before we get into the ranking, let me talk about some of the pros and cons, or the good and the bad, however you want to categorize it. Let's start with the bad first. The acting, subpar. I'm sorry. And I know a lot of y'all about to come in. And on top of the acting being subpar, the plot is kind of loose also. But that's to be expected in a kid's movie. I know a whole bunch of y'all about to come in and say, oh, but it's a kid's movie, Why are you being so hard on the kid's movie? Just because it's a kid's movie does not mean that it's an excuse to be bad, okay? Because there are actually good kids movies, especially kid basketball movies that we're gonna get into later in the series. Not saying that Space Jam ain't good, but you know, it's got its flaws just like every other movie. It's kind of lazily put together, you know, there's not too much depth to it, but the good about it, extremely entertaining, extremely engaging. The timing of the movie does move fairly fast, and that's good in a kids movie because kids be having short attention spans. And all of the iconic scenes that we got out of this movie and what it does, not what it does for the culture, but kind of like, you know, the Space Jam paraphernalia, the Space Jam shoes. You know, there's a lot of just iconic things that come out of this movie for the basketball culture and for hip hop culture in general, you know, black culture in general, you know what I'm saying? So for all those reasons, cue my drum roll. I'm gonna put this movie in A-tier. I'm gonna put it in A-tier, alright? I don't think it's on the same level as Coach Carter. I think it's carried by the status of Michael Jordan more so than it actually being a great movie. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section. And that concludes this film breakdown. Let me know what film y'all want to see next, because y'all know I'm gonna put the poll up on the channel and we'll vote and see what film we're gonna break down next. Y'all know the vibes for me is peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Continue to stay safe. Big Lotti gang. Know the 4's up in the chat. We out.